Broadcasting from our Q City studios in Bijilo, I am Jana Basongo and this is QTV News. Coming up, the chairman of the Constitutional Review Commission has urged commission members and staff to keep away from politics and focus their minds on building strong institutions for our democracy. A two-day event on the UN Convention Against Torture and Other Cruel, Inhuman and Degrading Treatment or Punishment gets underway at a local hotel in Bijilo. And Jane Commission of Inquiry members embark on site visits to facilities that featured prominently at the inquiry. Those were our top stories, and now the news in detail. A four-day workshop to build the capacity of Constitutional Review Commission staff and stakeholders, including the media, began at a local hotel in Bijilo. The training is being organized by the CRC, and participants are expected to be introduced to the CRC Act, its code of conduct for staff and commissioners, as well as its action plan, among others. Isa Jallo reports.
When completed in 18 months' time or beyond and put to the people, the new constitution would be the third of its kind since independence. The training program is part of preparations for wider consultations in the development of the national document. Justice Cherno S. Jallo, chairman of the Constitutional Review Commission, in his introductory statement said the orientation was important at this initial stage to ensure that the CRC and its partners operate from the same platform. He underlined the importance of participants to understand the issues in order to achieve the ultimate goal of writing a new constitution is done properly. Justice Jallo said the review process was designed to be fair, transparent, and objective.
What we are embarked upon is a national endeavor, one designed to develop a new constitution for the Gambia, one designed to ensure that the constitution that we ultimately develop for this country lives the test of time. That means for us here present, that means the present generation and future generations of Gambians. One of the things that the President of the Republic indicated during the swearing in of the commissioners was the importance of ensuring a constitution that is balanced, a constitution that will stand the test of time. And that is no mean task. It means a lot of efforts have to go into building that process, which is why, as a Constitutional Review Commission, we recognize that 11 of us, whilst we could have sat down to write a constitution all by ourselves, it would not have achieved the ultimate objective of being the people's constitution.
The CRC chairman reminded his audience the daunting task ahead of the commission and admonished participants to disabuse their minds of political lenience and thinking and all forms of prejudices. Justice Jallo indulges on the participants to focus their minds on how to develop strong institutions to be lasting anchor of our democracy. He said the credibility of the Commission depends on the credibility of its members and warned that a weak link could damage that.
It is important primarily because the Gambian people need to be assured that they have a team that they can depend on, they have a team that they can rely on, they have a team that they can be comfortable with in terms of the product that is eventually going to come out of this process. And we cannot do that if we hold onto political leanings or we allow ourselves to be unduly influenced. So it's important that we recognize that this is not only a lifetime opportunity for all of us here, but it is not a mean opportunity. It is a heavy one. It is one that requires a lot of responsibility on the part of each and every one of us.
The 11-member commission is tasked with drafting a new constitution and prepare a report in relation to the new constitution in 18 months, which can be extended by the president for not more than 6 months if necessary. The commission is independent and in performance of its functions shall not be subject to the decision or control of any person or authority. Isa Jallo for QTV News.
Convention Against Torture Initiative, in collaboration with the Ministry of Justice, Tuesday organized a two-day event on UN Convention Against Torture and other cruel, inhuman and degrading treatment or punishment. The event provides an opportunity to elaborate and learn more about the Gambia's legal frameworks and standards, as well as associated national mechanisms in relation to prohibition and prevention of torture and ill treatment. Babukar Sise reports.
In her welcome remarks, the head of Secretariat Convention Against Torture, Alison Edwards, congratulated the Gambia government for ratifying the UN Convention Against Torture, which she described as a significant milestone both internationally, regionally, and domestically. Furthermore, she says the convention is also aware of the Gambia's ratification of the International Convention of Enforced Disappearances. She added that the Convention Against Torture initiative gives legal guidelines and help governments to prevent torture.
The prohibition on torture is a long-held and sacred prohibition in the international field, and the Convention Against Torture is really a step-by-step guide for governments to give them some legal and institutional structures and elements in order to prevent and respond to incidents of torture, and importantly to prepare in the unenviable circumstance that torture becomes oppressive or regular. And I think in the context of the Gambia, we're very happy to be here at this turning point so that in ratifying the Convention Against Torture and now this discussion on implementing it's forward-looking and in order to avoid the excesses of the past.
In his opening remarks, the Minister of Justice, Abubakar Tambidu, highlighted the steps and measures the government has taken to defend human rights.
Since the current government took office in January 2017, we continuously stress the importance of protecting the human rights and freedoms of all persons living in the Gambia and have taken several measures to demonstrate our commitment. These include the establishment of a criminal case and detention review panel, which reviewed a total of 241 criminal cases involving 304 accused persons. Recommendations were made to discontinue prosecutions in 36 cases involving 86 accused persons on the basis of insufficient evidence. The exercise of the prerogative of mercy by His Excellency the President, resulting in the pardoning of over 200 prisoners across the country. I am proud to say that currently there are no political prisoners or prisoners of conscience in the Gambia.
Justice Tambidu continues to say that the arrest and prosecution of the former NIA agents, the arrest and detention of the junglers, the Gambia rejoining the ICC, and the steps the government has taken to abolish the death penalty are all indications that the government is committed to protecting human rights. Also speaking at the convention, the Minister of Interior Ibrahim Mbalo stated that the government needed to do more to achieve the commitments made towards addressing the human rights violations in the Gambia. He also spoke of steps to be taken to rebuild public confidence in the security services.
The hosting of this seminar is timely, taking into consideration efforts being made by the government to strengthen human rights protection in the country through the strengthening of government institutions, such as the security sector, which in the past were accused of serious human violations, leading to loss of public confidence in them. Therefore, as we seek to entrench human rights protection, it is important that the security institutions are rebuilt while also increasing the capacity of security officials to ensure their adherence to human rights norms when carrying out their mandates. This in turn helps in rebuilding public confidence in these important institutions, essential to maintaining the security and order of the country.
The event was attended by members of the Gambia Security Services, National Assembly members, international representatives, and other human rights organizations. For QTV News, I am Babukar Sise.
The Commission of Inquiry looking into financial dealings of former President Jammeh on Tuesday embarked on a site visit around the Greater Banjul area. The team, which was led by lawyer Ami Bensouda, visited the Kotu Power Station, Birkama Power Station and Gam Petroleum Storage Facility located at Mandinari Village. The aim of the site visits was to enable the inquiry to have first-hand information on the facilities. Rohi Jata accompanied the team and she now tells us more.
The tour was conducted as a result of evidence that were attended at the Commission of Inquiry in order for the Commission to understand the evidence and relate to them. The tour began at the Kotu Power Station, where the team was taken to a conducted tour of the premises where the functions of the machine at the station were explained to them. Babu Karfal, the generation manager, told the commission members that the Kotu Power Station supplies the whole electricity system within the country. He asserted that NAWEC have qualified engineers that are trained in South Korea and Germany to do the job and serve the citizenry. He said the G6, which has a lifespan of 28 years, is one of the most reliable machines at the station.
It is reserve that you need to have, so that when you shut down one machine, you will have a replacement, so that the consumer will not feel that you are doing some works. So that is necessary. It is redundancy that we need to have in our system. Of course, it has been a problem for years. That is why whenever we shut down one machine to do any necessary works, everybody will feel that there is a problem.
The managing director of NAWEC, Mr. Baba Fatajo, said the Brikama Power Station comprises of 7 machines, but only 4 are operational at the moment. He said the other one is on maintenance. He affirms the commitment of NAWEC towards providing electricity to the masses.
The transmission and distribution also is another challenge that we are faced with. Because, before we were not able to meet the demand, so a lot of issues with transmission and distribution were not manifesting. But now that we have enough capacity to supply all our consumers, most of those problems are manifesting. Even though we knew them that they were there, but the severity was not known until now.
The tour ended at Gam Petroleum Storage Facility, where we were not allowed to film. The team was taken to the premises and briefed about the importance of the company to the people. I am Rohi Jata, QTV News.
Before we end this news bulletin, we recap our main stories. The chairman of the Constitution Review Commission has urged commission members and staff to keep away from politics and focus their minds on building strong institutions for our democracy. Justice Jallo was speaking at the opening of a 4-day workshop to build the capacity of CRC staff and stakeholders, including the media, at a local hotel in Bijilo. A 2-day event on the UN Convention Against Torture and Other Cruel, Inhuman and Degrading Treatment or Punishment gets underway at a local hotel in Bijilo. The event was organized by the Convention Against Torture Initiative in collaboration with the Ministry of Justice. And JANEC Commission members embarked on site visits to facilities that featured prominently at the inquiry. The team, which was led by Ami Bensouda, visited the Kotu Power Station, Birkama Power Station and Gam Petroleum Storage Facility located at Mandinari Village. That is all we have for you in this edition of QTV News. Do join us tomorrow, same time for more news. Do stay tuned for more interesting programs. Thanks for watching.